Thank you for joining. Welcome once again for today's session. Thank you for your patience. As we all know, the session was rescheduled from the past week. So thank you for still joining us. And let's get it going, and hopefully this session will be useful. We will be talking today about the optimization of your Salesforce Marketing Cloud team specifically. And I have to say that while working on the content, I have realized that those advices, they can be equally applicable, not just to Salesforce Marketing Cloud, but to any other more complex customer engagement platform that you have in-house. So keep in mind those advices if you are not Marketing Cloud users, but the examples that we will be giving will be somewhat more Marketing Cloud specific, and the terminology around that will be Marketing Cloud specific as well. Why this topic is so important, budget pressure is higher than it has ever been. We all know this, we all face it. On top of license pricing, all of you have to handle the pressure of optimizing your team, how to better utilize the resources. There is always a question in the air, how to efficiently utilize external support. Do we even need this support? But what we see from our side, there is a number of anti-patterns, and two of them you see on the screen, that prevent you from this efficient resource utilization. And hopefully we will help you with today's presentation to improve that. And why there is a confession to make. At some point, all of us, consultants, consulting companies, with the best intentions, we added on top of these complexities a little bit. We were delivering, some of us were delivering pixel perfect, prettiest implementations to showcase all the possibilities of Salesforce Marketing Cloud. But very often those implementations were not perfectly aligned with the operational team you have at hand. So now let's all together, let's see how we can improve it and adjust to the new market realities we are all in. Quick intro, why we feel ourselves eligible to talk about the topic. Let us introduce ourselves. We both come from LeverUP, a company that is specializing in implementing customer experience platforms and Salesforce Marketing Cloud, including, of course, in the first place. And we've been through really a lot, and very often we were coming into the ongoing project to support with the improvements, enhancements, and team optimization. My name is Daria. I am CEO of LeverUP and customer engagement expert, and I'm happy to have Lucija with me today. Lucija, if you could introduce yourself quickly.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Lucija. I'm tech lead at LeverUP, and across the years, I have been working on many different projects across various industries. So I have worked with many different teams and experienced a lot of the stuff that we'll be talking about today. So I had a lot of interventions on those topics, basically.
Thank you for your support, and thank you for joining me today. Let's move on with our presentation. We have 20 to 25 minutes to go, with some time allocated to the questions at the end. And the agenda is quite packed. So what you can expect from us today, we will cover some of those anti-patterns I've mentioned before. We will cover a very important topic where we will try to challenge you and change your mindset a little bit to think in terms of skills and not just counting the head count in the team, and how to improve this. Where it usually breaks and why the transition from the implementation phase to your business as usual is so painful. And that's where all the beauty of the complex implementation that you have delivered sometimes crashes with the reality of your team not being fully ready to handle such a complexity. We will see how to avoid that. And finally, we will touch base on how to actually build your team, which team models work. We cannot list all of them, but from our experience, we will touch base on 3 team models for various size of the projects and of the company, and when to augment your team, if augment your team at all, with the external capacity, and how to properly identify your needs, and some QA at the end. So our first topic, without further ado, the anti-patterns that we see. You can, on the side, you can start doing the checklist, because you might notice that you can realize that there are more of these anti-patterns you have in your team. This is all perfectly normal. It's not a road blocker, and this all can be improved. This is just certain things to watch out for. First one, a campaign as a project. What do we mean by that? No reusability of components, no reusability of solutions. Your team launches perfect campaigns, quite complex even. The efficiency is questionable because the launch cycle is quite lengthy. There are a lot of interactions with the content team, with the data team, no reusable content blocks. Everything is sort of starting from scratch every time. So the efficiency of your resource utilization and also your campaigns is quite questionable, and this is a clear sign that something has to be improved, and the implementation and the team need a better match together. Martech is an IT job, and that's probably one of my favorite ones. Marketing cloud operations live inside IT, and the logic is very often quite simple. Is this a platform? Is this a software solution? Then it belongs to IT, very often with Salesforce core. In this case, marketing is always in a request in position for for launching campaigns and the journeys, and the other side often is less on the marketing side and more on the technical excellence side, and this also doesn't prove to be very efficient. Data toll booth. This is something that can be seen quite often, or we can call it data trading. Every new CSV has a new ticket, and the data team, the team that owns the data in the company, is often positioned as an external team to the marketing. So data exists for the sake of existing, and the activation of this data is a challenging process. So there is no data owner on Marketing Cloud side, and therefore, again, a big question: do you launch even your campaigns on time if you have to beg for every data point? I think we've all been there. The hero trap. There might be more than one person doing things here and there in Marketing Cloud, but there is one star and one unicorn, and only this person is eligible to launch the journey, to stop, to make the changes, to pause the journey, and anything that is customer facing is always only relying on one person. This is a very challenging situation. We all understand that. What if vacation happened, and they inevitably happen, right? Then the operation is usually getting very messy. And then there is the opposite of the hero trap. And I believe that Lucia has quite a lot of experience with this one. We internally call it everyone does everything. Essentially, there are no lanes of responsibility, but Lucia, you have more insights on that.
Basically, this most often happens when there are multiple teams, but every team member has only a few campaigns that they are responsible for. So, for example, if vacation happens or this member quits, then somebody else will need to take over managing those campaigns from that person, and there often can be a lot of time. It can take a lot of time for them to pick up on what was the topic of those campaigns. Also, specifically if there is something that is very specific in technical terms for those campaigns that they actually gain the knowledge, and also sometimes the quality might be impacted as the campaigns that they have managed. Now managing this one will also take time and ideally align with the business requirements.
Thanks, Lucia. Usually those setup are quite messy because all the campaign cycle belongs to one person. So that's essentially a hero trap with each individual team member. And then the other one, which is pretty controversial for us to talk about it because we are the consulting partner, what we call outsourced memory. And this is a heavy over-reliance of externals. And again, I will hand it over to Lucia.
Yeah, so basically outsourced memory is expensive memory. So this means that basically there is a lack of knowledge on how to manage the campaign. That also can lead to different issues, as your team will be overly reliant on externals for all the hard work, let's say. Also, the issue might be that when prices might be raised by the consultancy, you will have a limited amount of time that you can actually spend talking with them, because you will just hesitate, since you will spend those hours very quickly. And also, if the rotation of consultancies happen, that might impact the continuity of the job that has to be done. So that is also something to keep in mind.
Thanks, Lucia. That's a very sensitive topic, how to avoid the over-reliance on externals and make sure that the knowledge is on your side, although you might need support from time to time. So those are the anti-patterns, and we do hope you had a critical look on your setup while we were talking and that it's useful. Now, a very important recommendation and an issue that we often see. Companies burning LinkedIn budgets on job openings, which are listing a unicorn skill set. Basically, everything from understanding marketing strategy to perfect MScript knowledge. Our advice here: think in skills, don't think in headcount. You don't really need 5 unicorns in the team. Also, I'm also hiring for LeverUP, and I know that unicorns are very hard to find. The best unicorns are those that you raised internally. So try to focus on this and try to list the skills and evaluate who in your team already have such skills, what can be developed, and what you can gain externally or with the new hiring. So don't aim for finding an all-in-one superstar. Review critically your job openings and your expectations from your team members. Also, try to make sure that your team that is running Marketing Cloud operations is able to build the bridge between marketing strategy and what they are doing in the tool. It's important that their work doesn't turn just into checking the boxes and into the technical setup, but they clearly understand the bigger goal they are contributing to, so that they are ready and open to discuss the KPIs, match the technical setup of the KPIs and metrics and tracking to the marketing strategy. They should understand, so this journey that they are launching tomorrow, this is part of a bigger picture, and that's what we are hoping to achieve in terms of the business results. So that's also, this alignment is very important. The other alignment that's usually falling behind is making sure that your Marketing Cloud operations are an inevitable part of digital marketing operation as such, including your paid ads and including your website personalization. So your digital marketing has to talk to your Marketing Cloud team from the early days. Oftentimes we find ourselves getting questions from digital marketing teams in the companies closer to the end of implementation, asking, can you present us what Marketing Cloud does, so that we see where we can find some middle ground. This conversation should happen earlier, and your Marketing Cloud team should be ready to incorporate their work is not an isolated island, right? It's part of the bigger digital marketing picture. And another gap, the third one, we know it's challenging. This team should be able to close the gap between revenue operations, customer support, and data. Quite a lot of data points, a lot of triggers, and a lot of what happens to your customers in interaction with customer support belongs to Marketing Cloud as an incoming, NPS surveys, as an outcome of support tickets, as a separate data stream. All this has to be incorporated into your customer engagement strategy. So it's not easy. You cannot find one person who is doing it. You clearly cannot find 10 people with the same skill set. So try to plan the skill set matrix that you need. So this is a very simplified skills matrix. If you are interested, please reach out after the session directly to me or Lucia, or leave the comment in LinkedIn Live in the comment section, and we can share with you the extended skill matrix for all the tool stack, including Marketing Cloud Engagement, Marketing Cloud Account Engagement, Data Cloud, and MC Personalization. And this one lists only Marketing Cloud Engagement relevant skills, but what we would recommend you to do, list the relevant skills, list your team members, and then evaluate in terms of basic, advanced, intermediate, who possesses what, way it does make sense to develop, and identify the gaps. I used our names, but the situation is not real. This is just a placeholder, obviously, because Lucia would be, I would say, close to advanced in almost all of them. And Lucia, by the way, Marketing Cloud personalization is quite tricky, right? What challenges do you see in filling in the skill matrix for Marketing Cloud personalization?
Yeah, so Marketing Cloud personalization is a bit more complicated to look at from that perspective. So you cannot just leave like one marketer just to handle it. So I would also recommend that there are at least two persons that are familiar with the platform, but one should be more on the business side and one should be more on the technical side, so that just in case that something needs to be changed, that they're familiar with modern front-end technologies, with technical parts of Marketing Cloud. So, for example, how Marketing Cloud engagement is connected to Marketing Cloud personalization, and a bonus would be knowledge of mobile platforms to guide the external developers to do something for mobile. But definitely look for a blend of business and technical people to have managing the Marketing Cloud personalization.
Thanks a lot, Lucia. And as you listen to Lucia, you can also probably understand it's nearly impossible to allocate those, because maybe even to two people. So think about what you already have in the team, how you can utilize existing skill set. What is also a very good trade-off that is working, if you have a needed skill set in another team, in the data team, in the website team, try to build a bigger cross-functional organization where you share those skills on a fractional basis, so that a certain number of hours or on certain tasks, someone from the data team is available fully for your CRM team and for your Marketing Cloud operations. So again, always try to think in terms of the first skill set and then how we can fill this in. Do we have people, or we need to hire people, or we need a very narrow skill set that is missing, and from time to time we can utilize an external here. So once again, if you would like a deeper dive on the skill matrix, reach out to me or Lucia and we can cover that. Okay, let's move on. I see that our agenda is indeed very packed and we are uncovering quite a lot of topics. Let's quickly stop where it all breaks. Once again, I would like to highlight the importance of the transition phase. And when your implementation is done, when you have successfully raised your glasses to the go live and everything is perfect, that's where everything starts. That's not the end, that's just the beginning. And it's very important to be prepared for this phase. Please remember that this handover from the implementation phase to business as usual is not one meeting or is not a couple of training sessions. It's something that you need to be strategically prepared for in advance. So first, try to shape the idea of your internal team during the implementation. So at the solution design phase, during the blueprint, when you know what are you actually building, how it will look like, build it, plan it with your partner with the future team shape in mind. Don't leave it for after. It would be too late. Then the implementation will not be aligned with your actual capabilities. Design not just when you are clear on the team shape, what you can afford, what you plan. Also try to participate in the solution and tailor it to your capabilities. So don't be just the recipient, be a partner to your implementation partner. When your cooperation with your external partner is coming to an end, and probably if your external partner is leaving the project very soon after the go live, make sure that, again, in advance, you choose your champion, because that person would be supporting the adoption, and this will be a go-to person for the rest of the team, equally how you were relying on your external partner. So this internal champion is very important. Also, again, I can't emphasize enough, it's important to co-build the solutions, to co-plan everything. So please pay closer attention to co-building the handover process. Plan it together with your partner closely, the structure, the timeline, team that is participating from your side, team that is shadowing the partner, and also co-plan the hypercare phase. That's the most critical phase. When the go live happens, Depending on the scale, it can be from a week to even a couple of months. How do you monitor? How do you plan the further migration? Co-plan this sensitive phase with your partner, and be proactive here, and be realistic when you're approaching this phase. The effort will be needed. You can plan this effort together with your partner, but you need to plan your capacities. These are our recommendations for this important phase. And finally, the team models that work. From our perspective, what we have seen, of course, we cannot cover here everything, but how to make sure that your resources utilization and also that your marketing cloud is utilized in the most efficient way. We will cover 3 scenarios, one for the smaller setup, one for slightly bigger, and one for potentially multi-brand, multi-region, and +5 business unit setup. The first one we are calling embedded in marketing operations. That's a smaller and leaner setup. That's where probably marketing cloud owner sits, or a couple of people who are capable of working in marketing cloud. They sit directly in your marketing operation team. They are not outside, they're not external, and they are not in IT. We've covered that, right? So they are in marketing operations. That person with that setup would be wearing mostly technical hat, but also let's make no mistake, this person has to be able to think bigger than just mScript and server-side JavaScript. And it would be better if this person is rather somewhat limited on advanced custom development, but is able to look at the bigger picture and understand the importance of what he or she is doing to the whole marketing operation. So the alignment is more important than the narrow technical skills. Again, think it this way. If at some point you need to develop the custom activity to the journey builder, rather dedicated to external, then search a person who will be able to do this, but is struggling to align with the marketing needs. This works better for moderate flow when there are 1-2 brands and 1-2 business units, not counting the sandbox. And that also works when the data and the content team is available without any blockers, so there are no data trading, right? So that's a smaller, leaner team. There are risks as the team grows and the business grows. This can fall into hero trap or into data trading, so there's something to keep an eye on. How to mitigate this? Make sure that this person is not wearing more than 2 hats. That's why I emphasize the custom development. And please think about the backup, even the fractional backup. Maybe there is another person in the marketing team who is excited about Marketing Cloud, wants to learn. So support this and put this person as a backup to avoid the hero trap. The second one is a centralized, how we call it, and it works already for somewhat bigger setup. In this case, there's a separate team. Very often, this team is called CRM team, and it sits separately from marketing. It works roughly for 3+ brands, and there is more differences in the brands or products than we see in the previous setup, and the team is bigger. We do recommend then in this setup to keep 2 tracks, technical one or technical and data, and then campaign focus. So inside one team, there is a separation. They are supposed to be, what's important, clear CLA with data owning stream. Data owners should also be available, because otherwise we again fall into the data trading. That's quite a common issue. But again, here also try to think in terms of skills and not headcount, but separate the technical and the campaign. So keep an eye that campaign stream is not interfering with the reusable setup, and then there are areas of responsibilities between them. There is a certain risk that this turns into a ticket factory for the marketing. And again, this will be a 2 technical team. So keep an eye on the proper skill set planning. Remember the alignment with marketing strategy, with digital marketing, with customer support and revenue operations, right? To mitigate this risk. And the third one, in the most cases, it works really for a very diversified setup, for multi-region, for multi-brand, 5+ business units, but can also be applied to smaller teams if this seems to be a better option. From a structure, there is a team above, which is called Center of Excellence. Sometimes there are different variations. This team is characterized by limited execution. So this team is either not working hands-on in Marketing Cloud or with daily operations and campaigns, or only keeping the responsibility of probably global campaigns, several of them, or corporate-wise. What happens in the regions with the local brands stays their responsibility. But Center of Excellence sets standards, enforces these standards, builds shared assets, builds data activation layer, introduces the novelties, and from time to time does the light audit of how this is being used. Obviously, it's also very good when Center of Excellence keeps an eye on who is working down there in the satellites in terms of delivering trainings, maybe doing some sort of internal certification, or enforcing having Marketing Cloud certifications. So the quality of the operations in the satellites, it also depends on the Center of Excellence. The bigger risk here, which indeed has to be mitigated, is that in the satellites, in the region, in separate BUs, hero trap can easily be developed, right? So this also Center of Excellence has to mitigate situation in the brands or in the regions. I am rushing a little bit here. I see that we prepared more content than 30 minutes can allocate. Let me quickly touch base on the one final slide. Actually, when to augment your team. We were talking a lot about your internal capabilities and how to plan and develop them. But from time to time, you might have gaps. And external support can come very handy if it's planned well, obviously from your side and together with external partner. So tailored to every model. When we speak about the embedded in MarOps, a leaner setup, extra pair of hands from the external can come very handy on demand, but make sure that you don't fall into this outsourced memory trap, right? Advisory support, how-to sessions comes very handy. Very good to look at the offers of a flat price, something like we do. We have CXM Compass product at LeverUP when it's a flat monthly fee with advisory support, which is not limited. So look for something like this. This might help if you are getting a new person who is less experienced and you need to support with the bigger knowledge. So goal here indeed is to avoid the hero trap. So sometimes if you don't have the backup, external team can also be temporarily your backup. For the centralized model, there are more options. It can be a completely external full-time employee temporarily. For example, in a technical stream, someone has left or someone on a parental leave, and you know that for the next 6 months you need to cover. In this case, you can have a temporarily external as a full-time, but also everything that is applied to embedded in MarOps works here. Additional pair of hands to close the technical gap, and again, mix advisory and hands-on support. Look also for the options with this agreed scope and flat monthly fee so that you don't fall into the trap of avoiding to reach out to consultant because every communication is expensive. And then finally, the most interesting cooperation between externals and your Center of Excellence. It can be that your external partner can help build and maintain level 1 support for local teams, because remember, Center of Excellence is less of a hands-on organization, and they might want to impose certain standards when the team run into urgent problems. So it might be this, or in most cases, it's a supervisor solution architect to make sure that these challenging responsibilities that Center of Excellence have, that they have a needed advisory and support. Or it can be also an advanced technical specialist for one-off complex technical enhancements. We are right on time. We don't unfortunately have much time left for Q&A, but Lucia and myself, we can stay if there are any questions. If not, then thank you for joining.